Hey friends, Mario Cavallo here. My computer screen says I am live. Great to be here with all of you. Uh, as you know, I don't do too many live streams. When I do one, it's because there's something very, very specific on my mind and it needs to be clarified. This one just makes me angry. Well, like a lot of things in the world these days. If you're not a bit angry, I don't know, your head's under the rug. You know, you're not paying attention. There's a lot to be upset about in the world, but you got to keep a balance. Don't let it get you too upset. Well, very specifically, I want to go right here to, again, this is what drives me crazy, right? Let's go back to the Tiananmen Square incident. Was a terrible many months and weeks in China, which ended with the Tiananmen Square massacre of thousands of students in the square. That's according to Secretary of State Blinken, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. I mean, that's exactly what they said, except it's completely not true. Reverse, delete. No, there was no massacre of students, not 10,000 or 100 or anything at Tiananmen Square. No such thing happened. The United States Ambassador Lilly, along with reporters who were there on the ground that day, like Graham Earnshaw and many others, all said, we watched the students negotiate with the military and they peacefully left the square. So that was what was reported to the United States government. Now, needless to say, and this is just an example, by the way. I'm going to go to what's on my mind for today, but this is just an example going back 40 years. The constant lies about China. Okay, that never happened. Now, as I just described to you, evidently, certainly true. Okay, evidently, observably certain. That's when something is apodeictic. That's my favorite word, my new word that I learned about 6 months ago, apodeictic. When something is not rhetoric, but apodeictic, means that it is evidently, observably certain, evidently, observably known to be true. Well, it's in the historical record. I just told you crystal clear what didn't happen at Tiananmen Square. Now, obviously, if what I just said, come out and say again, blah, 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 bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I mean, this is to the United States. This is an ongoing, never-ending Western propaganda, pathetic, preposterous insult to China and to all the world, all thinking people with brains. Okay? Now, that was in the 1980s. We go forward now to 2020, and now I'm going to read this to you and discuss this with you. We are moving to the United States, what's happening with the Ukraine crisis, and the United States State Department and media asking China's views of the Ukraine situation and position on the Ukraine situation. Here we go. On May 2nd, the United States State Department issued on its website a statement entitled People's Republic of China Efforts to Amplify the Kremlin's Voice on Ukraine. They're not amplifying much at all. They're following along, claiming that Chinese officials and media, here's the quote from the U.S. State Department, routinely amplify Kremlin propaganda, conspiracy theories, and information. Shit, I said it wrong. Routinely amplify Kremlin propaganda, conspiracy theories, and disinformation. The Chinese officials and media routinely amplify Kremlin-related and the Ukraine invasion-related facts and information far more accurately than Western media does. It's not propaganda, it's not conspiracy theories, and it's not disinformation on the Ukraine issue, which comes out of China. It's what comes out of your country, okay? Which rationalize Russia's unjustified and unprovoked war against Ukraine. Unprovoked? Seriously? You know, it's a shame that President Trump is so bad in so many other ways, because especially the fact that he turned against China, the stupidest thing he ever did. But besides that, the man wanted peace, and under him, there was nobody attacking. No, there was attacks and wars and drone bombs under Clinton, under the Bushes, under Obama, and now again under Biden. But under Trump, nope. The man knew how to keep the peace. Okay. The United States intentionally provoked and escalated the situation. Do not believe me. I'm nobody. Okay. There are a number of incredibly high level experts in the world, experts, political leaders, diplomats, ambassadors, famous historians, and authors who have clearly come out and said, are you kidding me? Okay. The United States and NATO could have easily, and they were in a peaceful situation. They intentionally escalated and provoked this war, and they want this war. And then they try to say it was unprovoked. Please, 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 please. So the loaded question full of lies, asking the China Ministry of Communications, what is your comment? And now comes the truth. China's position on the Ukraine issue is impartial, objective, and beyond reproach. And it is. Okay. When it comes to spreading disinformation, the U.S. side should seriously reflect on itself. It is the U.S. officials and media who have spread such rumors as China knew in advance and tacitly supported Russia's military action. There's nothing says that happened. Nothing. They just said it. They just say it. Okay. I watched Wag the Dog last night with Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro. They just say things, okay, to distract you on purpose. Oh, yeah, and China supports Russia. Where did that come from? Okay. As China helped Russia evade sanctions and provided military support to Russia. Now, the China's Ministry of Communications says these are disinformation in every sense of the word. Notice that there is no ambiguity here whatsoever. These are disinformation in every sense of the word, and they are. Over the years, the U.S. has waged wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria, killing 335,000 civilians. I don't know where that number 335,000 came from, but I'll take it as a minimum. Okay, this is not disinformation. Is that disinformation? Is what I just said disinformation? No, it's not disinformation. The vast majority of countries in the world, all countries in the world, total a population of over 6 billion people who have no interest whatsoever in supporting sanctions and aggression in the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Countries which only represent 1 billion people in the world do support those sanctions. Okay, the vast majority of this is a fact. The vast majority of countries in the world stand for resolving the Russia-Ukraine conflict through dialogue and negotiation. China has done nothing but said that every step of the way. They have done nothing but said that every step of the way. China has, I see somebody's in my chat group. Audio's lagging. Sorry, Kevin. China has done nothing but for 40 years peacefully rise. 40 years of peaceful rise, and you want to say China's the problem, China's the threat. Freaking incredible. Okay. The vast majority of countries in the world stand for resolving the Russia-Ukraine conflict through dialogue and negotiation. That includes China, and none of them wants to see the situation escalate or get out of control. This is not, I like the way they write, this is not disinformation. Okay, good. Let me continue. In the working document submitted by the U.S. to the meeting of the state parties to the Biological Weapons Convention in November 2021, the U.S. admitted that it has 26 biolabs in Ukraine. According to the fact sheet released by the U.S. Department of Defense in March 2022, the U.S. is supporting 46 facilities in Ukraine. Why is the Department of Defense not some medical university involved in biolab facilities in Ukraine. They should, if it's an innocent thing, why is the Department of Defense putting them up and running them? Incredible. This is not disinformation. No, it's not. The U.S. should welcome joint verification by the international community under the UN and the BWC, which they don't allow. Members of the UN Security Council, together with the rest of the international community, for an early. China has done that, and you want to and accuse China of not being part of the international order. Listen, the rules-based international order is your unilateral, military, violent, warmongering order. That's what your international rules-based order is. And China has made it clear, you're right, and that's why you're really going after China. They want no part of you. They want no part of that. Neither do I, neither do billions of other people in hundreds of other countries all over the world. They don't want it either, okay? All you've been doing for 70 years is warmongering and massacring and killing innocent people. It began with Korea, and it continues to this day. You've left Afghanistan. You blitzed through Syria, Iraq. You're selling weapons to the Saudis to commit genocide in Yemen. And now you are fighting Russia to the last Ukrainian. You bastards. You fucking bastards. That's what you do. That is the evidently, observably known to be true reality and facts. China wants nothing to do with it. When you met with China, starting many months ago back in Alaska, when you met with China face to face, the ambassadors together in Europe, when your people met together, when you met face to face with China for another ambassador meeting, diplomatic meeting, when she spoke with Biden, every single time China tells you the same damn thing every time. You caused this problem. You provoked this problem. It's an albatross hanging around your neck. It's your responsibility to solve it. We had nothing to do with it. We don't want to be involved in it. You need to peacefully negotiate. Instead, we're all watching you in this freaking political circus intentionally, every step of the way, intentionally provoking, allowing, and escalating the situation so that the war continues. And you know who loves you for it? Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing, and all the other hawks. That's who loves you for it, okay? It's a disgrace to the world. Everything that you're doing is a disgrace to the world. You've pretty much ruined the life of billions of people because of the impact of this on so many other people. Okay. It's not just the people in Ukraine. It's not just the people that get killed when you, the last thing you did in Afghanistan was drop a drone on an innocent family. Okay. It's the very last thing you did before you left Afghanistan. It's not just that. It's not just the 10 people in that family that you killed. It's all those people that know them. It reverberates across the world, you sons of bitches. These are the facts. Now, look, you don't care. Free speech is worth nothing in the United States of America. Okay. And I'll prove it to you. Okay. Because you claim to allow all this free speech, but you don't bother listening. For 70 years, ever since Jane Fonda climbed up on the tank during the Vietnam protests, and even before that, back to the Korean nightmare that you inflicted on the innocent North Korean villagers, that you frickin' massacred, like a 500,000 innocent North Korean villagers. That's what you did. You massacred them, including using chemicals. You, the United States. I got a friend recently telling me Why don't you back off? Why don't you take an easier path? Why don't you leave it alone, Mario? Because I'm freaking furious. That's why I can't leave it alone. I don't want to leave it alone. Okay. And then the part that makes it worse is that you guys are the perpetrators, but then you accuse China of being the perpetrators. So I'm going to remind you one last time before I go and check my chat section here. Okay. And that is China has had 40 years of peaceful rise. 40 years. They haven't fired a bullet outside of their country one single time. No military action against anybody for 40 years of peaceful rise to becoming a world superpower. Okay. In many, many ways, China's GDP on a PPP basis is already bigger than yours. Okay. You say, oh, your GDP is 20, 30% bigger than China's. Well, when you charge $10,000 billing for an MRI, okay, and $2,000 for a CT scan, okay, and $900 a month for medicine, and the equivalent here in China is charged 50 times less than that. I can get an MRI for $200. I can get a CT scan for $50. I can get the same medicine for $50, $40. And then you say your GDP is bigger. Well, by inflated, ridiculous numbers, your GDP is bigger. Okay. So disinformation, disinformation, disinformation. It's gross. It's disgusting. You accuse China, and all China has done is for 40 years go on a peaceful rise to become the world superpower. Peacefully, all 40 years. Oh, China's not peaceful. Look what they did in Hong Kong. What did they do in Hong Kong? What did they do in Hong Kong? In 1 year of fighting off NED, United States CIA side organization funded, organized separatist violence in Hong Kong, what did the Chinese government do? You tell me. They lit a guy on fire. The violent protesters did. They lit a guy on fire. They were attacking and assaulting local Hong Kong citizens. What did the Chinese government do in response? They went in with drone bombs and they bombed the city to kill the protesters and killed thousands of innocents along the way. No, that's not what China did. That's what you do. What China did was they sent in the Hong Kong police, which is normal. And during the year of fighting back these violent United States NED funded, organized separatist protests in China, in Hong Kong, during that year's time, the Hong Kong police fighting all that off, okay? Fires and looting and violence in the street against Hong Kong citizens. What did the Hong Kong police do? They didn't kill one single person. They didn't use a, they didn't shoot anybody. They didn't kill one single person in the whole year's time. And in the end, they passed a national security law that should have been passed years earlier to bring stability and safety back to Hong Kong. That's what Chinese government did. Police did. You say, well, what else violence? Or China didn't commit any violence side of the Uyghurs. Listen, the century. This is the pathetic, preposterous century. There is no genocide. There is no forced labor in Xinjiang. This is a Western political, pathetic, preposterous propaganda lie. Okay. So you can't say China committed violence against the Uyghurs when they didn't. You're just making it up. Wag the dog, okay? Go watch that movie if you haven't. Go watch it. Robert De Niro puts in a really good performance along there with Dustin Hoffman and what's her name? Anne Heche. Pretty good actress lady, okay? So that's the story, okay? Now I'm looking at the comments. John, Kevin, how you doing, guys? I didn't pre-promote that I was going to be doing my live stream. I do it when I do it. I saw this U.S. State Department release this outrageous, more of this outrageous crap, disgusting. And I'm posting this. So then after I post this live stream, then the link will be up, and then I'll share it and promote it for people to watch it in Twitter. You have any thoughts? You have any comments? Let me know. I would be more than happy to respond to your comments in down in the comment section after you watch this video. Do yourself a favor, okay? Don't bother making snarky comments, okay? If you have something to say that's evidently, observably true, put it in the comment section, and I will be more than happy to make a comment about that, to have a sane discussion with you about insane, bad, nasty things that are happening in the world these days, okay? And this thing with China, man, blaming China, this endless Western anti-China propaganda campaign, just a bunch of political lies and crap. China is the largest, safe, stable, successful, and capable country on planet Earth. It really and truly is. Check out my other videos. I just recently posted a video about the excellent Hong Kong situation, the Hong Kong elections. I was also recently interviewed by Phoenix TV, Feng Huang Diansitai Hong Kong. And they're going to be, I'm going to be part of a 25th anniversary Hong Kong documentary. And that's going to be coming out in a few weeks. And I am looking forward to that. And that's it for now. I'm going to stop right there. Wait, I was going to stop and end it, but now I'm going to look. What do we got here? Yeah, it's worth mentioning what John's saying here. John, thanks. The problem is that other governments hop on the lies. Well, see, again, so you got Australia, you got the European situation. I mean, these people are literally dying on their sword because beyond Ukraine, Europe is going to be destroyed. Europe is going to be destroyed by their decision to support the degree to which they're supporting the United States. They're all these vassal puppet countries, okay, which again, in total, are economically powerful, but only represent about a billion people on planet Earth, who are the countries that actually support sanctions and war against Russia in this situation. The rest of the world follows China, okay? The rest of the world follows and supports China because China is a peaceful country. China is peaceful every step of the way. Just pops into my head. There's other crap articles out there. It also never ends. Just recently coming out that China invading Taiwan. Yeah, wait a minute. I got to go on this topic here real quick. This is just a bunch of nonsense. Okay. Yeah, man. This is just ridiculous. Yeah, this was it. Yeah. Blinken. Okay, this is incredible. Let me read this to you. When it comes to Taiwan itself, we are determined to make sure that, and then I'm going to be done, and I'm going to stop this live stream. When it comes to Taiwan itself, we are determined to make sure that it has all necessary means to defend itself against any potential aggression. Why? China has absolutely no intention whatsoever of invading Taiwan. They would never, ever proactively invade anyone. What did Mario just say? Well, they haven't in 40 years. The only time in the last 70 years that they did was during the Vietnam War, when they got involved there outside of their own borders. That's the only time. Okay, so let me read this to you again. When it comes to Taiwan itself, we are determined to make sure that it has all the necessary means to defend itself against any potential aggression, including unilateral action by China to disrupt the status quo that's been in place for many decades. I want to die when I read that. I want to die. I want to faint. I want to vomit. I want to just like, what? That statement is exactly a exact statement of only and exactly what the United States does and has done. If you just put unilateral action by the United States to disrupt the status quo, add the word intentionally in front of disrupt, that's been in place for many decades. For over a decade, there was no problem with Russia, Ukraine. Nothing. Okay. There was a thing called the Minsk agreement, okay, and other agreements. There was a conversation with Gorbachev. Everything was the status quo that's been in place for many decades. Nah, listen, I'm your neighbor, okay? You live right over there, okay? I decide I'm going to put weapons in my backyard. And you say, whoa, no, you ain't doing that, okay? Okay, I won't do that. Fine, then we're good. Nobody's attacking nobody. No, but then we go ahead and we push 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 and we provoke and we provoke and we provoke. Okay, intentionally moving closer and closer to you, even after we said we wouldn't. That's what's going on. Don't take my word for it. That's what happened. The United States intentionally disrupted the peaceful status quo. They are a bunch of warmongering sons of bitches. They do it on purpose. And even yesterday, Biden proudly visiting the Lockheed Martin factory. That's a New York Stock Exchange company, weapons company, selling weapons. The same company, along with Raytheon and Boeing and Lockheed and whoever else it is, that sold so far, I think, like $40 billion worth of weapons to Saudi Arabia to commit what's been an ongoing genocide for years in Yemen. Okay, these people in charge of the governments that I'm talking about are war-mongering, crazy bastard sons of bitches. And for 4 decades, China has done nothing but peacefully rise. And those same people are telling you that China is the threat. I'm done. China is the largest, safe, stable, successful, capable, and civil country on planet Earth. Thank God it is. It is not perfect, but it is what I just said it is. All right, folks, you have a great day. Goodbye. I got to go.